All right. Welcome to the Rise Up podcast. I'm your host, Jonah Mitchell. And on the show, I do my best to help simplify everything that goes into losing weight, shedding body fat, improving your body composition, and really ultimately helping you get out of your own way. So you understand what it takes to create change that lasts. And I took a couple weeks off of podcasting. And in that time, I've been having lots of ideas come through. And one of those ideas popped up is I want to try and move away from just once a week podcast episodes to at least one or two, one, two, two. And today is kind of like my testing of the idea that I had, which is much shorter format, 10 to 20 minutes, 10 to 15, I should say, and just about something that's on my mind or a lesson that I've learned that I think you will find valuable or helpful. I just kind of want to jump right in, and then we'll save the stuff for later, but the other things for later. But like something that has been really resonating with me is just being real, being honest with myself, and being real. And this, hence why real talk is the one part of the title of this episode, because some of the best conversations I have when I'm coaching people is when we have to get abundantly clear and real with each other. It's like, hey, what's the reality of the situation, right? What are the facts, and what are you saying, and what are you doing, and how do those make sense? And sometimes you have to be really honest, and a bit harsh when it comes to the future that you envision yourself having. And I find myself doing this a lot. I imagine I have much more time than I really do on this planet with myself, with my wife, with my family members. And it's like, oh, I'll see them soon. I'll see them tomorrow. I'll see them later. And just something that I've always heard but never really like fully like grasped the concept is, I mean, nothing is certain, nothing is guaranteed. And I want to talk about this today, especially when it comes to how people treat themselves when they're losing weight. If you don't take the time to actively remind yourself of the negative path that you can find, that you could lead to, because you try something, you fall off, you say, I'll do it later, I'll do it next time, or I'll just, I'll get it eventually. Which again, you can do those things, but if you're always the kind of person who wants to put it off, you can only push it off so much. And it's about remembering and reminding ourselves of these situations of like, we don't know if we'll be here tomorrow. We're going to be happy with what we've done, with the lessons we taught to our friends, to our family. Are we going to be happy with the life that we lived? Am I going to be am I going to be am I okay with constantly being uncomfortable and letting life beat me down? Because what you say and what you do are very different things. I was just talking to a client about this today. He says he wants to be healthy and get back to his former level of fitness and health. But every time he goes in the gym, he's reminded of how far away he is of that. And it's so discouraging that he just says, okay, I don't want to feel that, so I'm not even going to show up to the gym anymore. Right. And then he's faced with a situation where he sees his dad going down a path of health that he's mimicking right now, and he's not happy about that. But he doesn't really, we've talked a lot about this, about reminding ourselves of that pain that could be possible if we do not remember. If we always say, I'll do it later, I'll put it off till next week, I'll put it off till Monday, I'll start again on New Year's. You don't know if that's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to be here. And those realities that we don't want to happen are going to come a lot faster than we want them to. Another thing that kind of had me thinking about this was, when I get annoyed with my dog Blue, like it's 1 a.m, she jumps up on the bed and she's like curled up in between my legs, so it's like the most uncomfortable position possible for me. For her, it's apparently comfortable, but it doesn't make sense in my head. And a very like my instinctive reaction is like, oh my God, get her off of me, I'm trying to sleep, leave me alone. And then I had to remember and remind myself, one day she won't be able to jump on the bed and cuddle with me and Hannah. One day she won't be able to lay on my legs. One day she won't be here, and I'll be missing all the times that she was laying on my legs. And it sucks to think about. It sucks to remind ourselves of that pain that we will feel, the loss that we may feel of friends, family members, pets, loved ones in general. And if we don't remember those things, we can take the time that we do have with them for granted. And that's not what we want. We want to be present in those aspects. And we can take that same philosophy for our own journeys, for our own health and well-being, right? Stop taking the time that we have for granted and realize that one day you won't be able to move. One day you won't be able to keep living the life that you're living. One day you'll have to pay for medical bills if you don't make a significant change. And this is going to depend on person to person, but one day our body will break down and you will not be able to do what you want to do. One day you will not be as able to make the decisions that you may be making now because your body won't allow you. We have to remember, like, are we willing to go down those paths? We have to think about that now before it gets here. Before it gets here is important, because when it's here and we have to address it, we have to deal with it, and all we're going to be left with is knowing what we could have done to prevent the somewhat downfall that we faced. Well, that's going to make the situation 10 times harder. It's not, and I'm saying this, you're probably hearing this in one ear out the other one, like, oh yeah, that's not going to be me, whatever. I mean, that's me a lot of the time. That's always been me. I'm 28 years old, or I'm going to be 28 years old. And, maybe it's me about to hit 30 here in the next couple of years and my existentialism is coming out. But no, like, it's about remembering these things and reminding ourselves those times will not last. My dog laying on my legs will not last. One day I will not be able to run around and play flag football anymore. So I'm going to do the best I can with the time that I have now. I'm going to take care of my body now, so I'm not regretting or feel like I missed out on anything. And ultimately, it's going to help me take care of my body later, because I'm doing something that I can do now appropriately. I'm not killing myself. I'm taking care of myself through all these things. I'm reminding I won't be able to do this one day, so I might as well do my best now. And then as I slowly start to lose my capability, then my focus will shift. It's going to be more about longevity. It's going to be about sustainability, and not necessarily sports performance. Because I know if I do, the more I do now, the less I'll have to worry about later. And that's why I want to be really real with you. Like, if you have a reminder, if you have a family member who's gotten sick or has had health issues, and that's something that you're scared of, you may not even be aware that you're scared of it, but like, truly explore these things and explore those negative possibilities that definitely can happen, especially when you learn to evaluate what you're doing. And if what you're doing is always, all or nothing, or you always push it off, things don't go your way, so you just say fuck it and stop trying. Like, imagine, play that out. What happens if that's your reality 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? Where are you going to be? I promise you, it's not going to be a good place. Because just because you stop worrying about changing doesn't mean change won't happen. Change is automatic. And we can either remind ourselves that right now, being present right now with ourselves, with our journey, with our friends, with our family, with our loved ones, right now is the best that we can do. And we just have that little reminder. It's very easy to forget. We all have busy lives, right? We have to work. We have to take care of people. We have to pay the bills. We have so much. We have to do so much that our life kind of, the things that we really care about, we forget, or we put them on the back burner. That person, my pet, my friend, my loved one, they'll always be there. My health will always be there. I'll always be able to wake up tomorrow and just try again. That's not true. And I don't want this to be a very dour or very upsetting episode. I just want this to be a reminder, like, use those things, those negatives that can happen, and remember that those inconveniences or those challenges or those things that you find annoying about wherever you're at right now, one day you're going to miss them. One day you're going to want them back. Like, yesterday I was exhausted and had no desire to go to the gym at all. Like, it took me an hour to convince myself to get up and walk over to the gym, and I finally did. But like, in that moment, I had to in that conversation, I was like, one day I won't be able to walk to the gym, and I won't be able to squat 315 pounds, and I won't be able to do the things I'm able to do. So why, if I was in that spot, if I was unhealthy, if I was injured, if I would just crave the ability just to go to the gym. And I had to use that as a reminder of like, okay, like because of the reminder of I one day I will not be able to do the things that I'm doing, or one day because of what I don't do now can lead me to being in a much worse place later. I need to keep finding a way to just show up. Just keep showing up. It's the number one thing you can do for any goal that you have, is just keep showing up. If it's truly something that you're passionate about, that you want to change, the most important thing is that you show up and you remind yourself of what could happen if you weren't able to do what you can do. If you don't have if or outside of health and fitness, like if you Blue, for example, one day Blue won't be able to jump up on my bed, and I'll miss all the times that she was able to, and she cuddled with me, even though it may be uncomfortable. Now I'm just thinking about it, and now it has helped me reframe that. I actually kind of love when she jumps up on the bed and cuddles with my legs. Yeah, my first instinctual reaction is to be super annoyed, but again, it's those things that help change the perspective and change the importance of the changes that we want to make, so that ultimately success becomes a forefront of your mind and doesn't always just get put on the back burner because of how busy you are, how chaotic your life is. When you have that reminder, when you take the time to just remember those little things that you may be annoyed with, or you may have to convince yourself to do now, one day they won't be here, or one day you won't be able to do the things that you wish you could, and using that as a reminder to move forward. So I hope this makes sense. Trying out this real talk thing. So first real talk episode, I hope it gave you a different perspective. I hope it helped you with whatever you're dealing with. And if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. If you're a long-time listener, thank you so much. If this helped you at all in any way, I'd really appreciate if you share this episode with at least one person. And then, stay tuned for the rest of my podcast. Like usually, this is going to be like a little sub category of episodes, like just real talk topic. And then, the rest is going to be like the mindset, the nutrition, the fitness stuff that helps with the weight loss. This is just another thing that I like to bring up, or this is a thing I want to just throw out there as well, because this is something that you're going to have to face regardless of what you have going on in your life. And no matter how much nutrition and fitness information you have, if you don't have some of these topics thrown around in your day-to-day, or if you don't think about these things as often, the information is not going to help. So we'll always fall back to what we know. And what we know is not remembering the things that we won't be able to do one day, or the people that we won't have in our lives one day. So we might as well do the best we can with the time that we have right now, that we know is here for right now. So, all right, I'm done talking. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.